Welcome back. So we're still talking cakes, and Janet's in the house.
We had a bit more to eat there.
Yeah.
Yes, we were talking about cutting the cake. Yeah.
And then there's no knife.
It's really part of the whole ceremony. Having a knife that is nicely decorated and well prepared for the cutting aspect of the wedding, because cutting it's a procedure. The whole serving and cutting and eating is a traditional one, so they have to always make sure that the cake knife is available and nicely decorated with ribbons or how it may be. Not just take one kitchen knife and kaplunk it. No, it happens a lot. They always tend to forget the knife most times, but you want to make sure that that is definitely readily available.
But that isn't that the responsibility of the cake maker? To also supply
they're the ones that tend to forget, knife? Unfortunately, sometimes. Okay. Yes.
Well, make sure you remind your cake maker to come along with the knife.
Absolutely. And photography is also important because, again, part of the traditional ceremony of the wedding is in standing up, going to the cake, cutting the cake, eating. Now, when it comes to cutting the cake, again, I should say, especially with photographers, usually the groom has his hand over the bride's hand. That's really the traditional way. It's just a form of protection, and it's a symbol of this is one of our first assignments that we're going to do together as a married couple. So you cut the cake, and you want to make sure that your photographer is actually readily available for that part. So you don't want to have all your wedding pictures like, okay, where were you when we were cutting the cake? So a good photographer knows that that is an area that he doesn't want to miss at all. And I would say serving the cake as well. Now, there are different ways you can serve the cake. So the bride and groom have their own way of serving. They cut, the bride feeds the groom, and vice versa. But in serving the cake for your guests, some people like the idea of cutting the cake afresh and serving it on open plates to people. Now that depends on whether you really want to get into touching the cake and all of that. Hygiene. Some will actually box the cakes in advance or put them in cellophane with ribbons. The choice really is yours, but you have to remember that sometimes if you have a very large crowd, it saves time when you box those cakes earlier, provided you make sure that they're done under very good hygienic conditions, of course. And of course, I must say finally about eating the cake. So you don't want big chunky bits on the table for your guests to eat. Nice, decent portions. You know, a lot of people bite-sized pieces. A lot of people really don't like the sugar aspect of cakes, but they're only eating it out of love because it's part of the ceremony. So you have to really remember that you don't want people to waste your cake because you spent so much money. So bite-sized pieces are good enough. And those that will eat the cake will surely eat the cake. Some will eat 2 or 3. You know, sometimes you're still waiting for food and you see the cake on the table. You see a lot of people go for the cake first.
While we wait.
While we wait. But I think it's a part of the wedding's preparation, wedding plan, to make sure that your cake is, you know, well thought out properly, and you bear in mind all those things. Remember who's coming to the wedding. So with cakes that will last long, there's alcohol in it. You need to remember whether you want it to have alcohol or not. Don't assume that the cake maker knows. You need to let the cake maker know exactly what you want and what you don't want in it. You know, and nuts too are not some people's favorites because of allergy. So you also have to make sure that you remember that as well. But good weddings come with good wedding cakes.
But in most cases, the cake is also some tiers of it are made to last.
Yes.
Because you may want to keep one for your wedding anniversary or the arrival of your first child. So invariably, if you're asking for a fruit cake, it will have alcohol in it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So you bear that in mind. But you know the new trend though. Sometimes cakes really do cost a lot, but there's a lot of dummy cakes now in cake presentations. So you might want a 5-tier cake, but you can only afford 2 or 3. But a good cake maker will just dummy cake for you and cover. Nobody's going to know, you know.
Your 5-tier cake.
You end up with your 5-tier cake, but you can't cut 2 of them. But and there's nothing wrong with that, so long as it looks okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they have so many tricks these days.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Someone says, "What's a wedding without a cake?"
Exactly.
There you go.
Well said.
Back to your budget. Make sure that you have a good budget.
And the one says, "Hey, cake."
Yeah.
Obviously you like cake. Sorry, we can't give you any from here.
Lovely cake.
Thank you so much, Janet.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I wonder I don't know what we're going to be discussing next week, but please make sure it comes to the saucer
Yeah, let's eat.
And a fork, so that by the time we're done talking,
we can
actually continue talking here.
Yes.
Talking the cake.
Yes.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much. And that's our show for today. I want to thank you for letting us be a part of your day. It's been exciting. It's been, as we say, dynamic and reforming.
As usual.
And reforming. Yeah. But would like to advise that you go out there and make yourself a good Nigerian. Love yourself, love your neighbor, and be the best that you could ever be. As architect Ettiquette says, we need to take responsibility for who we are, where we are, and what we do. I'm Neo Taigwe.
And I'm Alero Edu, wishing you a very happy weekend. It's Holy Week starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
So see you on Easter Saturday.
Indeed. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.